Okay, so first map we're going to start with is Temple of Anubis.
Now entering the Temple of Anubis. Adaptive circuits engage. Ready for battle. Ready for battle. Ready for battle. Ready for battle. 5, 4.
Okay, so to start, the biggest thing about Double Bubble is one of the how we should be running this comp is most likely with tanks and supports are fine, they're right. It's more the DPS. I understand if we're going for maybe a grapple shot out the window or out the start for this. But the big thing that we want to be doing with Double Bubble, at least for when we do our engages, is we're making sure that we're following up with our monkey every time he goes in. With the DPS that we have currently, that's not going to be possible. Even with Winston's armor change, he's still going to get melted if he goes in there. I mean, all they're going to have to do is bash him, Orisa pull, stickies, beam, he's dead, right? Um, so having DPS that are going to follow up with him is very important in this comp in general. Um, so I guess this will be just the example that we're first going to have to do is when they hold here, our Winston jumps up, and preferably the other two DPS that we would be having is either Echo, Tracer, Sombra, Kree, usually one of those four. And if we have the Kree, then it needs to be with one of those other three, not double hit scan like we're running now. So instead of the Widow, let's say we had the Tracer, right? So how we set up is our back line, which is going to be our Zarya, Brig, and Ana. That's all consistent of the back line, and our front line, which would be considered DPS and our Winston, right? Our back line are going to be sitting in choke, waiting to support the Winston as best as they can. Either they can be sitting in choke, or they make the rotation through here. And once they're like right here, then we call, okay, getting ready for the dive. 3, 2, 1. We pop out the corner. Winston jumps. We give him the bubble. As soon as he lands, Brig, Ana, Zarya all pinch through here, able to help the Winston out, and preferably a Tracer, the Echo, whatever, is coming from another angle. So Tracer coming, let's say, rotates through bottom, comes around here, comes through here, comes up, and is now helping the Winston as soon as he dives in. Echo could be doing another thing where she goes through with the backline rotation, except when she gets right here, she flies up here and waits here for the dive. Ready? Once the dive is called, then we go in. Echo comes around from this backside. Backline pushes through here. Winston jumps up. Tracer comes through this way. We just pinch them from all different directions. Their best option is going to be to either throw lamp and try to survive through, or they're going to have to back up. Most likely, we'll be getting a pick out of this. Once we do, we kind of steamroll, or we kind of roll it from there. We cycle our CDs correctly, and we take first point. So hopefully that explains a little bit of the basis of every time we're going on an engage, how it should be set up is, at least for like more of like an attack, is the Winston needs to be supported. With the armor change, this comp is much more potent just because of he's able to control and take space longer than he used to do, right? So he's taking less damage because of the armor change and is able to stay around longer without getting forced out so easy. There are very intricate and tiny things. I think the backline is very specific on how this has to be, but the key emphasis on this comp for this comp to work is our Winston knowing what to do, having good CD cycles, and attack and how it should be ran, right? Like I said, there are intricacies. We'll try to go over that. If not tonight, then another time. So we'll play it out.
3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
So I'm sorry, it's gonna remind it again. I wasn't really paying attention.
Attackers incoming. Defend objective A. Focus with me.
Okay, we're late on the bubble there. So when monkey, so like where the monkey is right now, let's say if he was jumping in and not falling backwards, this is when you want to bubble him, because when he's going to be bubbling or coming in like this, I don't know if anyone noticed besides Classic in the other scrim the other day, every time the enemy team ran double bubble on this map, whenever the Winston jumped up, he was constantly looking for to boop him back, right? So every time he came up, Classic was looking for the Lucio boop off so he doesn't get any value. He drops straight to the ground, right? Which is the right play by Classic. It was just that their Zarya had incredible bubble timing, like and if we don't get these bubble timings down, then shit like that is gonna constantly happen, and the comp's just not gonna work altogether. So again, a little bit slow on the bubble. We didn't have anyone following up on the outside. The only thing that this is doing right now is feeding them alt charge and getting us a little bit closer to our primal, which in the end is more advantageous for them than it is us, right? Not both people die. So now that we're close to Nano, how we should be playing this is, again, same thing like I talked about with the rotation. If we want to keep with these DPS, it's not the best, but we'll just make do with what we have. Kree, backline, and Zarya rotate through this way. Monkey stays at choke. Or the Ana can stay rotate, but stay like right in here. When the monkey jumps in high, gets a bubble from Zarya. Ana peeks out, gives him nano. He goes in. We have the follow up from both Zarya and Brig pushing through this way, and our Kree if Kree goes with them, and then the Widow shoots from up top. It's gonna that should be the play there with what we have right now going into this. At least that's one of the best plays that we could be making. Okay, I think we're going for swaps. And don't tell me we're full comp swapping. We are. Yikes. Oh, we're playing double sniper. Okay. Okay, I don't hate it, but definitely not what I wanted to see. I'm assuming you guys just are gonna stay on this comp. Excuse me. Okay, so I guess we're not most likely going to be doing Anubis just because I don't think we ran this comp.
I'm in aim.
Helden sterben nicht.
Engaged.
優が我が敵を食らう
Ready for battle. 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 Defend.
Oh, shit.
Executing flight maneuvers.
Damn it, why you gotta play me like that? Alright, yeah, I'm assuming we're just not gonna play the comp on this map. It's fine. Just look at a different map. Gibraltar.
Arriving at Watchpoint Gibraltar.
Man, I swear, y'all like to fucking play with me. Oh, okay, we're going up there.
Behind you! Ah!
Oh, power bash. Yo, how? Who is he even fucking swinging on?
Hello there.
The payload has
There we go.
Personne n'échappe à mon regard.
Going up. Kishoye.
Okay, so now that we have car control, where we're looking to take the fights is with the 4 doors up here, right? Any door that they come through, that's when we're engaging. Again, the comp's kind of fucked with what we're running. Besides tanks, nothing else is really double bubble about it. BAP's going to have a hard time being able to heal the Winston when he goes in deep. Winston's not going to get any follow-up with the DPS. Lucio is not really going to be able to do much. So again, let's say if we had the regular comp, Brig, Ana, flanker DPS, and let's say we have the Widow. Again, how this should be happening, the flanker DPS with the Winston goes in whatever door they come through. So let's say Widow and Echo are top left, or Widow's top left. What we do is we commit onto the Widow, we take the bubble, we go in. Hopefully there's the Tracer, Echo, Sombra, whatever. Following up with the Winston, Widow dies, we reset afterwards. Or if they all decide to come through one choke, same thing, Winston comes in. Preferably he just drops down, so the Winston, how he should be positioning is on this high ground or that high ground. And if they just decide to come up here, he just walks forward and tases. When he needs to get out, he's using his leap to get out. If they come through bottom, he drops down, same thing, you just leap to get out. If they come over here, and we're positioned over there, then we're going to have to leap in, but we need to have the support ready for when we need to get him out.
Personne n'échappe à mon regard.
Get into position.
I don't like spectating this map. Okay, now we're playing this in more of a brawl kind of style.
I'm past this fort.
So the reason why we're running Brig Ana, why we should be running Brig Ana instead of the Lucio Moira, is because Lucio and Moira aren't going to be, relatively shouldn't be able to keep up with the Winston. Ana and Brig, they can throw packs, they can shoot from long range. They'll be able to pocket the Winston no matter how far he is, compared to Lucio Moira, which had to sit on his dick the entire time in order for him to get any kind of support from his supports. So that's why we play the Brig Ana here, just to clarify.
Огонь по готовности. Adaptive circuits engaged. Zarya.
Where's our Winston? Oh.
Огонь по готовности. Gale de Mahol.
Personne n'échappe à mon regard.
Very messy fight. Yeah, Widow needs to dodge.
Огонь по готовности.
Bad grab, we shouldn't have grabbed there.
Personne n'échappe à mon regard.
We have Primal to stall this out. Don't leap in. You want to drop down. Biggest thing with Winston is when you're playing him, if you can, for your engagements, every time you want to drop down to engage, right? You want to use your leap to get out, because all they have to do is Brig Bash you, Kree stun you, Discord, and Winston's going to get melted every time. we're gonna run these supports with a Diva and the Winston, might as well just swap over to your Shadow Dive thing with the Sombra and Tracer, Sombra Reaper, whatever, and just go for more of a brawl kind of dive. Having these two hit scans, it's gonna separate our supports, it's either gonna separate our supports into having to choose between pocketing tanks or pocketing DPS, and it's also going to leave either tanks or DPS alone to fend off whatever comes their way. So fucking oh, okay, never mind, just hit the wrong button. So yeah, it's gonna cut off either our tanks or supports from getting any kind of peel from the rest of our team.
Nothing's gonna stop.
Pick.
Adaptive circuits engaged. Winston.
Got out too late and fucked up jump.
Ready for battle.
Yeah, okay, so well, let me see if we actually run the correct
Ready for battle.
for it.
Ready for battle. Ready for battle.
Better. Hopefully we get the Zarya.
Ready for battle.
Still no Zarya.
3, 2,
Still no
1.
Zarya.
Attackers.
Okay, this is a little bit better, but
Stop the payload.
again, with the Zarya, it would work so much easier. Because there's just so much that a Diva can do, especially against what they're running, that's even going to protect the Winston at all, right? So they're going to just laser him with Zarya, tase him with Winston, flail and whip shot everything with Brig, beam with Echo. Like, 4 out of 5, or 4 out of 6 of their characters are going to still be able to damage our Winston, even if we have a Diva. That Zarya gives that layer of protection against all 6 members instead of just those 4, instead of just 4 members with the Diva, right? So yeah, let's just see how we run it. Okay, so let's say let's say we did have the Zarya, right? How this should be going is, let's say Scooby comes up through these stairs when Monkey's ready to go. Monkey jumps in, gets Bubble right here, does his tase damage. Echo comes from either right here, or let's say if she wants to go for a longer rotation that's a little bit better, coming through tunnel, popping out the other side, coming up here and poking them from the backside, or coming through stairs, coming up here, poking them from the side. You know, there's so many different possibilities that the Echo can do in order to help out the Winston any way that they can. So Winston comes up, Echo comes out from her flank and starts pressuring out tank supports, anyone that's sitting up here. Possibly get a kill. If not, all it's going to do is force them back, or it forces us back. And if it forces us back, then we're still getting cart progress. They use CDs, that kind of thing. Which also, going in for this dive opens up a lot of room for our Widow to be able to come out and poke. So is that because everyone's going to be focused on the dive that's happening right up there. So Widow pops up on this doorway, free LOS, comes up these stairs, jumps on this, plays bridge. Either one of those angles now has almost free angles once bubbles pop, that kind of thing. So yeah, I hope at least that makes sense for these engagements, right? Biggest thing is that the Monkey knows what he's doing, and every time it's It's going to make this comp more effective if we have 1 or 2 DPS following up with the Winston every time he goes in. Ana gets free LOS on the Winston, heals up our Winston, does what he can. Zarya eventually starts to rotate, so she can get more involved in the fight. Brig comes up with her, so again, how this should go. Winston jumps in. Let's say we do this rotation where Brig, Zarya. Let's say we keep the Kree, right? Kree, Echo, and get the Zarya, right? Let's say Zarya Brig comes up these stairs. They start pushing this way. Ana, Kree hold point. They can heal the Winston when they can. Good pick. Widow's next. Widow dies. Going good.
Feeling powerful.
Nerf this!
D.Va kind of big feed.
Adaptive circuits engaged. Brigitte. Adaptive circuits engaged. Winston.
Fine. Okay, Brig and Ana need to be rotated up here already. Not playing down there where we are. Not making the right rotations for our backline. See, we're getting there. We just need Zarya and then we're good. Good. See, that's the kind of play I'm talking about. Winston jumps up, Tracer, Echo, whoever the fuck, comes in from an off angle while the Tracer is pushing through. Everyone's focused on the Winston. Tracer pops up, does incredible damage on whoever she's focusing, and hopefully get a pick out of that. Like, that's the type of engagement we need to be doing with Double Bubble. Ana's pushed too far back, because once this cart gets around the corner, you're going to have limited LOS from where you are. Rotating through this window into Mega and then onto that bridge is better than playing that far back, especially since it's forcing your tanks to not be able to push in more aggressively. So they're constantly having to stay anywhere from those boxes over to the right. So boxes over to the right, that it's forcing them to constantly play that line, right? With you being back this far. If you were up this far, then you're going to have a lot more LOS at the point. If you need to, you drop down to see anyone that's over here, or go through shuttle and you can see anything that's over here, that kind of thing.
Adaptive circuits engaged. Ana.
Feeling powerful.
Don't focus the monkey, focus Brig. Oh wait, no, Brig's dead, that's our Brig. That shouldn't happen.
Survival of the fittest. Unfortunate.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
Okay, now we gotta reset and wait. Get the free cart push, but if they start pushing back, that means we definitely need to just start backing up until our DB gets back. Should have tried backing up, and our diva should have been DMing you while doing so, instead of getting caught at high noon. Yes, okay. Switch to Sombra.
30 seconds remaining.
Огонь по готовности!
Feeling powerful.
Okay, what the fuck? Okay.
Draw.
Honestly, biggest issue with this and why we didn't even full cap this map is because they just comp diffed us. Like, it would have been so much better if we just, when we make those swaps and if we know how to play it, everything will go a lot more smooth in the mirror. Especially against what they're running. If they're running a BAP with this comp, that is atrocious. When running a BAP and a Winston together, unless that BAP has fucking god tier aim, he's not going to be able to hit the Winston. Winston's not going to get any kind of support that, anywhere near the kind of support that our monkey would get with running an Ana instead, right? So, okay, I'm just gonna do this instead and kind of walk through how to run the comp, just in general. If it loads.
Traveling to Volskaya Industries.
Imagination is the essence of discovery.
Okay, so Volskaya is I like using this map as a great example for this comp. So how the comp should be played, right? Is, let's say we're going on defense first, right? So enemy pushes in, let's say if they're running Brawl, right? Where we need to be engaging them every time is this choke, this choke, this choke, top left over there if they push top left. We need to be utilizing the chokes for this comp, right? Or I'll do even one better. Instead of just fighting around point, we could be doing these rotations even before, right? So They rotate this early to, so like let's say our Winston sits here, Zarya's up there, Ana Brigger up there, Tracer's over here, Echo's over here somewhere, right? So they rotate through this way, Winston does his damage, he's tickling, he gets his bubble, stays in a little longer, uses his bubble, uses leap to get out, right? Meanwhile, the Tracer's coming on a flank, either from that room, let's say, and poking anyone that the Winston's trying to tase. Echoes from up here, shooting down. Zarya can see right here. Ana, Brig have both a semi-LOS through this little lane right here. So let's say we hit them there, okay? Nobody dies, they make it through. Our rotations need to be fast. Brig, Ana start backing away. They come back up here. Start sitting through this way if they keep rotating through. They rotate across the map. I'm sorry for the lag, by the way. Brig, Ana sit over there while, excuse me, we turn around to start setting up over here. So again, they come through that side, through the tunnel. Winston originally already jumped back here. Once they make it to the stairs, no one dies. He jumps over here, he waits, okay? Zarya is rotated, either kind of sitting on point back like here, or better yet, instead of the Zarya sitting over there, I guess a better example would be the Zarya sitting with the supports right there on the first choke, right? She's already rotated through with the support. She's playing in between the supports and the Winston. They push through right here. Winston, again, same thing as the first point, right? Comes through, does his tasing. Let's say Echo is up here, around here somewhere. Tracer's coming around the backside or coming through down here on Mega to poke up here. And once they come through, again, Winston does his thing. Armor's chipped off. He gets bubble. If he has bubble, uses his bubble. Leaves to get out. Okay. Same thing with Echo Tracer. They're both highly mobile. They can get out, right? By that point, if you don't get at least one pick at either of those chokes, then something got fucked, right? Okay, so let's say they come through this way. Same thing over here. They push through this way. Winston does his tasing, yada yada yada. He starts rotating over this way. Once they come out, again, this is another point that you hit. Again, if they keep moving forward, you're hitting them along the way. As they rotate up, you rotate with them. You're sitting up here. You're waiting for bubbles. You get bubbles. Sitting up here. Tracer's flanking from the back, coming up here. Echo is helping the Winston on the front. Zarya is starting to rotate around that way and is coming over here, or just sits over there and just lobs nades over here. Again, at that point, you will most likely, I would say, get a kill, because if the Trace is coming through the back, or the Echo's in the back shooting stickies up here while our Monkey's tasing through, Ana throws nades, something like that, sleep, whatever, right? That's the kind of rotations that we need. Those are the big things. We need to hit them at points. Wow, that's a lot of lag. Need to be hitting them at the points. I guess I should wait a second. Need to be hitting them at the main chokes of the map. If we can, if the map calls for it, we need to be hitting them early. That gives us a chance to build our ults, cycle CDs, help us build nade, that kind of thing, all while pressuring them to use CDs themselves. So let's say they're running the meta brawl comp, right? So Rein Zarya, Kree Reaper, Bap Lucio, right? As they rotate through this way, they could possibly be using Lamp. They're using Lamp, Amp, Bubbles, Shield Health, Kree Stun, Reaper Wraith, Reaper Teleport, all of that kind of stuff. As they're rotating through, they're using those CDs in order to cross the gaps, right? Or to protect from damage. All while we're comfortably just rotating with them, using our CDs well enough that we're keeping them in check if they push through. Again, at this point, hopefully a pick comes through that way, right? Winston gets pressured out, he backs up. At this point, like, what are they going to do? At this point, let's say no one dies on their team. Then their next choice is to rush the Ana Brig. Winston just meets them over here. They pressure point. We find a weak spot. Let's say Bap is sitting on that high ground. Dive the Bap. If no one's on high ground, we should automatically win this map because we're controlling the high ground, right? So at that point, they just try to pressure point. Winston toes on and off point. Gets Zarya bubbles, uses his bubbles, maybe gets up to tick, gets packs, that kind of thing, and is constantly contesting while our DPS, our Zarya, our Ana, everyone else is trying to get a pick, right? When someone's low, we go in. I know this is a lot of information to take in, and a lot of it is going to be kind of sequential in how we use our CDs, but it's honestly up to the Winston to be making these rotations and specifically not using his leap to, at least for defense, using his leap to go in for this, right? He should already be at the rotations that they're making so that he can pressure them once they come through. And then when they do pressure him out, he has his CD to get out. Okay, let's swap it onto attack. Coming through attack, same thing. We're going to have to make the same rotations I talked about that the enemy would be making. So if they're playing that top left, we're starting to rotate through here. Maybe we come up this way instead. Either way. And then once everyone has closed the gap to a certain point, that's when we engage, right? Tracer, Echo is trying to get set up. Let's say we're focusing on this high ground, right? Somebody's up there. Winston can play down here, plays around here, waits for everyone to get set up. Let's say Tracer comes through that way. Echo wraps underneath and then pops up when we're ready to go. Backline pushes through here, right? When we're ready to go. Come around through, do our tasing. Zarya pops out, give bubble to Winston. Tracer collapses, Echo pops up here, collapses, backline's already here, that kind of thing. I hope that kind of at least a little bit explains how we should be playing the comp. The big things is Monkey needs to know how to do his job. He needs to have support anytime he goes in. When I say support, I mean from like DPS. Bubble CD usage needs to be, I'd say, on point, but at this point I just want to see the comp ran so I can be able to nitpick certain situations, right? Again, there are certain CD uses that eventually I'm going to have to talk about with the supports and bubble management with our Zarya, but that'll probably have to come for another time. Yeah, I think that's the most simple I can make double bubble. It is a very hard comp to execute, and it's very precise, but if you get it, it's going to destroy Brawl, it's going to destroy any other comp that the enemy team runs, and you're going to roll anyone that you play it well against, right? Yeah, so I hope that covers at least positioning and how we're starting these engagements. Again, I'll try to go into more detail maybe tomorrow or something else with new footage when we're running the comp with optimally, not, something like the Widow, Kree, Lucio, Ana type thing, right? Or the Lucio Moira. Hopefully that explains it. If you have any questions, just let me know. But that's it.